Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having a nice weekend and enjoying the last bit of the weekend. Now, what I have here in front of me is a selection of flowers and leaves and bits and pieces I use for eco-dyeing. I've been watching videos on eco-dyeing for I don't know how long, and I've seen people, boiling stuff for anything from 1 to 3 hours, tying stuff up in stones, adding various chemicals and bits of rust to a big pot. And it didn't seem terribly eco to me, so I did a few experiments, and this is what I've come up with. First of all, I'll show you what I used. I used fuchsias. You can get these wild or you can have them in your front garden. But I cut them in half. I used the small fuchsia and I cut it in half. There's a full one and there's one cut down. I also used hydrangeas and more hydrangeas over here and berberis. This turned out very well. I used ivy leaves. I'm not showing them here because I'm sure you all know what ivy leaves. I used cosmos petals, cosmos leaves, and I think that's all I'll show you so far. I also use buttercups and a kind of a thing like a dandelion. It's not a dandelion, but if you have a lawn, you'll have this thing in your lawn unless you look after it very carefully. So I wanted a really fast, easy method that people could use when they made a botanical journal or an eco journal. Like, we're all used to dyeing paper with tea and coffee. So I'll show you the results I got using these plants, and then I will go ahead and do a bit of eco dyeing with you. I haven't done a live tutorial for ages, so bear with me. Oh, wait, what is this one here? The first one is the dandelion-y thing in the front garden. You get a kind of a delicate, you can see the petals and then the green bit at the bottom of the petals. Then I used a rose leaf. That's another thing. I mean, you can get you don't have to have that. You can do this even if you don't have a garden. I mean, you can, if somebody gives you a bunch of flowers, there'll probably be roses in it, and you can, use tick off the leaves, which you're supposed to do anyway, I think, if you from flowers. And you can see there are bits of the leaves there, but I think it gives a nice effect because the dye comes out of the underneath of the leaves. So this is the underneath of the leaf here, and this is the outline of the leaves. And yes, I do press them, but this is an instant effect. You're going to have to wait and see the actual demonstration, see what I do with it. Here are some hydrangeas. They're the hydrangea leaves, and those are the actual little individual. They're not flowers. If anybody is into gardening, they're not flowers. They're called something. There's some fancy name for them. And this is A5 size paper, so perfect for a journal. Like, I've done them around the edges, so you can, well, this one isn't done around the edges, but so you can write in the middle. This is a large fat fuchsia with some ivy leaves, and you can see the dye is running out of it because it was so juicy and so squashy. Now the next thing is the berberis. This little fellow here, sorry, I'll show you him again. A lot of people have him in their gardens, and flower arrangers love this particular plant. But this is the effect I got. This is the outline that you get from the front of the leaf, and then this is the back of the leaf where the dye oozes out, and these are little kind of back of the leaf again, but slightly. I think this might be the second time that's the first time I pressed them, and this is the second time, and I got more dye out of them, but it looked more kind of skeletonized, I think is the word. Like, you could make up a little flower arrangement really around the edges of the pages. Now I think I have more fuchsias here, and you can see see the way they turned out. This one is really, the big one is really too squashy and too juicy, and some of them you can see the pollen, and I don't know what this was up here. Oh yes, I think this was some kind of creeper, Virginia creeper or something like that. You just have to try whatever you can find. Now the next thing is just a buttercup. And you can see here, they're still pressed into the page. And this is the kind of skeleton effect on the other side. And what I do to get rid of the leaves, I just get a nail brush and brush them off. I don't know, you might want to collect up the petals and use them for something else. So you can see, with a bit of effort, you can get rid of the actual petals themselves. But you might want to leave the petals there for some reason. So there, that's okay. Now I'm going to show you how I do it. And it's an instant method, well, nearly instant, which we like. We want effects straight away. I use die cutting machine, and I use the ordinary sandwich, whatever you're for cutting thin metal dies, but I use a shim, but not too much of a shim. If you use too much of a shim with this, the flowers will, you know, the dye will come out of it and juice will run all over the place and might stain your precious clothes. So we're going to try it first of all with some hydrangeas, because these are really, really spectacular. And I know your next question is, what paper do I use? Now, wait till I see. The paper I use is just from this book here that I got in the range. You buy a set of 3. I think it's probably 160 gram. I also tried mixed media paper, and I've tried tea-dyed paper, and they all, most of the ones I showed you were done on mixed media paper. Now, where's that hydrangea? Oh, here they are. Put it back here. So I'll put it up in the corners, just as if you were decorating a page. And I'll try some of the cosmos leaves down the edge as well. This could probably make a lovely little bookmark if it turns out okay. So I get my plates, put them in just as if you were cutting a thin metal die, and I have a shim here of 2 bits of the same paper, and I'll run it through and we will start praying that it all turns out okay. I can hear the flowers squelch. I don't know if you can, and I'll just take it out and look at it after one run through. You can see, even on the front side, we've got a result. Look at that. You can see the outline of the flowers, the dye, and it does smell a bit green and leafy. I take off the leaves. Now that is really spectacular, and that literally took 2 seconds to dye. I mean, or to press and to put the dye on the paper, and some dye is coming out on the other side. If you like this sort of messing, you'll enjoy it. Now, another important thing about these, don't leave them in sunlight. They're ideal, these pages are ideal for a journal, they're meant for a journal, but don't kind of use them in any artwork that would be exposed to the sun, because the sun, they'll just fade. I don't know if you ever got a present of a dried flower picture back in the old days when they were very popular, and you'd hang it on the wall and it would turn just brown in no time. That's the sun. It sort of oxidizes them, rusts them. I'm not sure what's the technical term, but you don't want to lose that lovely kind of splattered flower dye effect. So that's one. And next of all, I found that I could run the hydrangeas through a few times to get a bit like, what do they call it? Second generation stamping. You can run them through a few times and get a more delicate effect. But this time we'll go for broke with the fuchsia, I think. And as I said, I've cut the fuchsia in half. And wait a minute. There we are. There's the fuchsia. Sorry, coming back in. And I'll also try a few of the little Berber leaves. As I said, you could make a little design and have great fun. And I'm putting some of these in upside down just to show you the difference. And here we go. Make your sandwich. Don't forget your shim at the bottom. And line it up, and off we go. I'm just using my mini die cutter just purely for ease of access here. And you can see, here we are. And you can see the perfect outline of the fuchsia. Look at the leaves, how well they've turned out. And here's the other side of the page. I'll take I think you can see here the lovely outline. I also use cosmos leaves the same way. Now we're getting quite a little bit of pile of used leaves here. And I know what you're going to say. What will happen if I use these on my tea dyed paper or my coffee dyed paper? Well, no panic. This is what it looks like done on tea dyed paper. You can see slight result on one side, and then that'd be beautiful in a botanical journal. Absolutely beautiful. Now, what else haven't we tried? The cosmos. Now, I wouldn't run a whole cosmos flower through. I'll try it with some of the... I just put a scattering of the petals. I can feel a dog hair coming out of the petal, but never mind. Here we go. And some of them are right way up and others are facing down to get that effect. I'll do the sandwich again. Run them through. I just run them through once or twice. Unless you're finding it very hard to get a colour out of them, I wouldn't run them through any more than that. And here we go, we have our petals, which we can remove and get a kind of a ghost print of the petal. Just quick. If you can't be bothered with drying the normal way or going to all the hassle of eco dyeing, and I'll just go back and show you the first one. So, a few of the others. Like these were done in a hurry, but you could, you know, make a picture or rearrange everything a bit better. I think if I could get tiny little ivy leaves, they would look nice as well done around the edges. So I leave you with that for a bit of something to do and something to experiment with. And there, as I said, there's no pots, no boiling, no taking up the stove or cooker top for 3 hours boiling something. And it is paper. This will only work on paper, but I did try to do it on fabric, but it wasn't great. And the trouble with fabric is it probably will get exposed to the sun. But for stuff for putting in your journal, just give it a try and let me know how you get on. And don't forget to do leaves like the cosmos. That is a great little fellow. Like the cosmos for, you know, extra effect and kind of more structure. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.